honestly, if you only have a couple of people pushing from the side trying to turn it, and everyone else pushing from the back trying to keep it from going straight, it's almost impossible to turn.
That's the importance of the media. That's the importance of the media. The media controls the way we think. And that's how they hurt us.
So true. So very true. It's hard to even get a foothold, because you've constantly got the story being broadcast into everybody's face 24/7, exactly the way they want the story told. And you go, but wait, here's what my evidence shows. They go, oh, you're just a nutcase.
Yeah, you're one of those black helicopter, but you're a conspiracy theorist. You're a pothead. It's called divide and conquer, folks.
Yep.
You know, it's what I've told people, Jimmy. I don't care. I don't care. Our Constitution, which I think was our first attempt to get out of the one world government trap. You know, the sun never sinks on the sun never sets on the English Empire. You know.
Right. So
they're still doing the same things they did try to do 2,000 years ago. The Constitution gave you the right to worship any way you want. So you want to go bang your head against that wall, you want to stick your nose in the sand and your ass up in the air, or you want to get on your knees and pray to a instrument of torture. Knock yourself out.
Yeah, that's your freedom.
That's called freedom. That's called liberty. Just don't expect me to get down on my hands and knees beside you, or to read your scrolls, or to follow your way exactly. I know what's good and evil. And we've all got the choice to do good or evil. You know, that's called free will. That's called free will. We can do that.
Yep. And I think they try to homogenize us by saying, oh, that you're so much different from the guy next door. Well, I'm supposed to be, because I am different from the guy next door. I'm me and he's him. So yes, we're going to have different approaches to the way we do things. There's nothing wrong with that. I've always, why do we all have to look the same? Why do we all have to do the same job? Why do we all have to drive the same car? The whole point is, you're an individual. You're going to have something different that hits your hot button than I have.
We got a caller on the line. Let's take a caller, Jimmy, from the 918 area code, and I got a feeling I know who this is. Hello, who do we have here?
This is Ann, Glenn.
Hi, Ann. How are you?
Oh, fine, thanks.
Well, Ann, it's very nice to be able to introduce you to my friend Jimmy Gray.
Uh-huh.
Hi, Ann.
Hi. I had not heard that y'all had a background in Texas, and that was a good idea, and that was a Liberty Village type, and from what I've heard today, and I was looking at the definitions of freedom and liberty and so on. Liberty results in freedom if you have self-responsibility. If you're responsible for yourself, then you have your freedom, and that's liberty. You know, self-responsibility means don't be sucking on the government tit, to put it plainly. And those that do, well, that's their choice. We can't choose for others what would be best for them. People have the right to choose. So, with your Liberty Village concept, and that music, that song was very nice.
Thank you.
With those things, you know, I understand where you're coming from, and I really appreciate you all speaking out and staying with it. Lesser men probably would have given up by now, or a long time ago. So I heartily appreciate y'all what you're doing.
Well, thank you very much.
Speaking up. Okay.
I appreciate that. Thank you for your call.
And I would like to say, if I could.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
First of all, I agree completely with your definition of liberty, and I think you're right. Yes, we don't need to take from the government if we're self-reliant. If we can't be self-reliant, if a single person can't be self-reliant, then yes, they do give up some of their liberty in order to rely on someone else, be it the government or anyone else. You give up that right to your freedom, and I've always thought that was sad. But like you said, that is a choice. It's a choice that some people have to make for themselves, and we're not all going to make the same choices. One other point I would like to make, and I thought it was cute. You said something about lesser men would have given up. There's smarter men would have given up too. But not necessarily that we're that cool.
I love that. I go through questioning series, a series of questioning with me, checking to see if my mind is still fairly sound. Because I've had to ask myself, maybe I'm the one that's crazy here. Maybe believing in liberty, is just some kind of little fantasy concept like right out of Alice in Wonderland. Maybe I should just be concentrating working for the government like everybody else. I think if you don't check yourself once in a while that way, you run the risk of actually slipping over into some sort of unthinking mode. And you've got to think. That's what makes us different. We have the ability to think, to reason on our feet. And if we're not reasoning on our feet, we are lost already. It's what I tell people all the time. Don't believe everything or anything that I tell you. Check it out for yourself.
Exactly.
If you get it from other sources and you find out that I'm telling you just what Nietzsche told you, what Thomas Jefferson told you, then you can be pretty reassured that I'm shooting straight with you.
Yeah.
That's right. Trust but verify. As much as I dislike the legacy of that particular president, he was right about that. Trust, but you check it out for yourself. Otherwise, you don't know. You're living on somebody else's words.
That's right. And anything else from you, dear?
Not at the moment. I'm just really appreciating your conversation, and I want to hear more.
All right, dear. Thank you very much. I'll just cut your mic off here. Okay. Tell me about what now you just got these songs up. We got some other songs. I ought to make you pull out your guitar and do Busted in Texas Blues for me.
Oh God, I haven't done that one in so many years. I would like to tell you a story about it though.
Okay.
Many years ago, I was playing with a band that you're familiar with, fairly popular group, and we went to play a job at University of Texas in Austin, and we drove all night to get there and pulled off the bus at like 8 o'clock in the morning, bleary-eyed, having been drunk and wasted the night before and spending the night on a bus driving down 35. We get to the college, we pull off the bus, and we go, where can we get a cup of coffee? And someone pointed us to the Student Union building. So the whole group, messy, tired, dirty from loading the equipment up the night before, we all troop over to the Student Union building. As we walked in the door, there was someone sitting playing Busted in Texas Blues. And as soon as we walked in the door, he stopped and he went, "That's the guy that wrote it." And you know this guy. You remember him. You remember Tim? Little Tim Fisher?
Yeah.
He was the kid that had the radio show on, I can't remember the name of the station now, the one over in Oak Lawn.
Okay.
And I went and did a show with him one time. You stayed home and listened while I did the show.
Yeah.
I played all the songs for him. I talked about the movie. I talked about the plans for what we were doing with the company. God, that was back in 70, I want to say 73, 72. somewhere around there. And he was attending University of Texas at the time, and he was playing the song then. I would imagine he still knows them today. Because you don't forget.
You know, we've got the whole album for the movie. Now, up on my website, on freeamerican.com, if you scroll almost all the way down to the bottom, and maybe I think you should be able to appreciate this, because this is the way that I combined everything. You know, I said, let me see. You know, that I took the future past and made that the beginning of a movie script that's happening today. And it starts out, it's got the whole script is a part of, you know, the first half of the script is up. And the Solomon novels make out the second half. But it said, thousands of years ago, the earth was a different place, a race like no other existed. Theirs was a technology far ahead of the levels we know of today. They faced a disaster similar to that which killed the dinosaurs. They sent their people out into space. Only a few brave souls stayed to help the less advanced inhabitants of the planet rebuild. They were genetically advanced men, almost immortal, incredibly powerful, telepathic, and able to manipulate matter with their minds. They were known as gods, angels, warriors, demons, among the survivors of our planet's close encounters with a galactic intruder. The legends and names of these beings are scattered throughout our history. Their power grew all-pervasive, hidden throughout modern times. Humanity was divided, controlled, conquered by unseen hands. Today, the balance of power shifted into the hands of the most feared being in history. And then it goes on into the rise of the Phoenix. Meet Lucifer, the Thunder Rider, an original television series. I did this for a Jewish attorney in LA who was going to take it to HBO. Said HBO loved it, but he wanted me to sign a contract that gave him 95% of all my profits.
Thank you for all your help.
So, and while I was doing the script based on future past, you know, it occurred to me that I've been, all this time, over the last 40 years, I've been writing about the same character. Whether you call him Lucifer, whether you call him Jesus, whether you call him Solomon, you know, or whether you just think of him as the guy with the laser pen writing the Ten Commandments and handing them to Moses, you know.
Yep.
And I think we got one on that. I think we've got one on. We did one on that. The man that knows. The man that knows. You couldn't do that for me, could you?
I'm not sure.
Got a guitar anywhere there?
I've got a guitar, but I've got a baby that's getting around here too much. Let me see if I can get the guitar in here and keep him contained. Give me just 1 second.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to get him to chill out here. This guy is, I think he's a future Republican. I really do. So I've got the guitar. What did you want me to play?
The Man That Knows.
I can do. Gosh, let me see what I remember of it. It's going to sound kind of funky over the phone, but I'll see what I can do. Let me try here. Okay.
Okay.
I can watch you at work while you are away. I know what you do while you are at play. Yeah, I know who you see. I know where you go. There's no mountain so high that it's so low can hide you from me. The man that knows. That's probably about all I'm going to remember of that. But it's still there.
All right. That's one of my favorites, you know. As Solomon the king, I built a temple to God. As God, I gave Solomon a magic rod to call up the demons from hell down below, and I called it myself for gifts to bestow on the man that has everything. The man
I remember that. I love that. I love that verse.
You should have thought twice before you made love to me, because now you're mine through all eternity. Yeah, I look like a man, because that's how it goes, but sure as you are that this morning sun's rose, sure am I the man that knows. Might call me man, you might call me God, even the devil would get you a nod. I've been called Pan in times long ago. I've also been known as a man called Mose, but names mean so little to the man that knows.
Clay, it was rich poetry. It was very rich poetry, and it lent itself so well to the music because it spoke the truth. It's hard to sell a lie. They do it all the time, but it's so hard to sell a lie. It's a lot easier to sell the truth.
Well, that's what I have always tried to do. You know, I've been publishing now for 40 years, and Solomon's Herald was the first thing that I ever published.
Yes.
That was an underground newspaper in the 60s.
So many sleepless nights staying up putting that thing together every month. But it went out. we got it done and got it off every time. And that was while we were trying to make a living, because we had to eat.
Well, we worked together.
Yes, we did.
And that's what we're missing right now. It's what the focus of my article is. You know, if we work together, and everything that we did all that time ago is still doable today. It's still here today. We haven't given up any copyrights. We haven't lost anything. I haven't signed any agreements with nobody. I don't have an agent. But people are afraid to deal with me because they're being demonized. But when we were doing Solomon, when we were selling to 7-Elevens, people were coming in trying to stop us or get us kicked out of 7-Elevens.
Exactly. They did manage to get that turned around at one point to where 7-Eleven does not handle that merchandise anymore. But that's a small victory for them. The truth of the matter was that they did handle it. They handled it because they had no choice. They were in the business to make money, and we were making them money by providing what people wanted. That's hard to fight.
Well, we have been put on the path, you know, to this is corporatization. It's really on the Communist Manifesto. I mean, every plank on the Communist Manifesto, including the corporate farms, the central bank, the heavily progressive graduated income tax, is intact in America today.
Yep.
So how do we get out of that? How do we fight that? We do that with information. We do that with ideas, and the ideas that I put forth in the first novels that we wrote, that Jimmy, and you've read everything we wrote. It's a fiction novel, it's an adventure novel, but it has some underlying messages, I think, that are relevant today, and that we need to adopt. And a lot of those ideas, like the medical marijuana, has been adopted and has taken place. So however the thought starts, however the concept starts, if it's viable, if it contains the truth, then it'll grow.
I believe that.
If we don't fight each other. Now their whole tactics here are divide and conquer. They want you to, you know, I'm not telling anybody to hate the Jews, not even telling anybody to hate the Muslims, don't think we ought to kill the Christians, you know. I don't think we ought to be killing anybody.
Exactly.
I don't think we ought to be going to war with anybody. I think if the whole world gets together and helps one country and one people become self-sufficient rather than enslaved, then we've got everything that we need right here on this planet, right here on this earth. Right now, we don't need wind farms up on mountaintops. We need wind generators on every home. We need independence.
Yes.
And we need the liberty to achieve that, not be controlled and herded. And that's what the Free American, that's what Solomon, that's what Clay Douglas has always been about. And you've known me in the worst of circumstances, in the farthest places.
Yeah, we saw some times, you and I. They weren't always good times, but they were definitely times. I think both of us, you and I both, are living examples of the fact that if you just keep working, if you just keep pushing, you're going to get somewhere. It may seem like you're not making any progress, but sooner or later you're going to go a foot further than you were, or an inch further than you were. No matter how strong the current is against you, you're going to make progress.
That's right. That's right.
And sure, it gets frustrating. You get tired. I mean, they count on that. They count on us wearing out and going, okay, this just isn't worth the struggle. But it is worth the struggle. It's worth every bit of it.
And you are holding in your arms what we're working for.
That's right.
Your grandchild is what we are doing this for. I'm not doing this for me. I got no plans being super wealthy. Don't care for it. I do intend to have the money to do whatever I need to do, as I always have, pretty much. And I've always worked for that. We've got the means to do that now, Jimmy. This show is going worldwide. It'll be up on YouTube. Everybody reaches their own level of incompetence. Mine might be the internet. But if the people out there listening to us understand, we've been working together for 40 years. We're still working together. We still got things to do. We still got movies to make. We've got songs to write. I've got books to finish and new books to do. I won't stop. What we need is your help, your backing. We need you to pass this information on. We need you to do something too. We can turn this world around. We have turned it around. We voted in Arizona. We got medical marijuana here. That opens the door to letting people realize this ain't the bad thing the government tried to make it out to be. And all I'm telling you in Free American, the government is our responsibility. It was left to us. All of the rights are reserved to the people. You just you can't do it. They rule us by consensus. If you sit there and keep your mouth shut and you stay below the radar, then nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change.
You just said yes to their agenda.
Yes. If you don't stand up and say, now wait a minute, you know, isn't this a communist doctrine? What are we doing with that? What are we doing with that? Then they go ahead and do it, and you got a communist country. You're living in a communist country, and that's happening right now, folks. You know, you wonder how they could kill 60 million white Russians, white Christian Russians, after the Bolsheviks took over, after the communism was instituted, after the Soviet Union was formed. Well, you're about to find out. Unless we do something, unless we stop it by letting people know there is an agenda, and it ain't for you. It's basically for a formula of control by one world government of the banksters, by the banksters, and for the banksters. There's answers on freeamerican.com. There's answers on libertyvillages.com. We just told you of an apartment building in Dallas, Texas, we had a Liberty Village in. And it worked. It worked. and it can work all across the country. It can work in a block, in a city block. Dig up your backyard, plant plants instead of roses, instead of tulips. You know, plant food. Put a generator on your roof, or a solar generator on your roof, and become self-sufficient. There's plans for all of this, and the way to do it is getting these solemn novels out, getting the message on the Free American out. Jimmy, thank you so much for being with me.
Well, I have certainly enjoyed it, Clay, and I appreciate you bringing me in. It's been good to talk over old times, but it's also good to talk over new times, because that's what these are. We're in our new times right now, and I haven't given up. I know you haven't given up. So as long as we keep swimming, we're going to make some progress.
We're going to keep doing that.
Recording has been completed.
That's a good way, a good note to end the show on. Thank you. God bless you. I love you, brother. And looking forward to being with you again.
Cool. It was great. It was great being here, Sonny. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, and yeah, that's me too, Sonny. Yeah, that was my name for most of my life. Bye.